let's have a look at the new feature that WikiPakk adds in version 2.14, and that is moving the page tree button to another location. So normally the page tree button is on the right side of the page, but you now have the option to move it to the left side. So we will do that. And then we will look into an advanced configuration that moves the page tree button entirely out of the top bar and into the page itself. So now get started. Let's add the WikiPakk app to this site, because this is a brand new site. WikiPakk has not been added here. Let's head over to the site contents page. Refresh a couple of times until the page tree button appears. So in the upper right corner, you now have the page tree button, and also the panel slides out from the right. And now let's move that over to the left, because we want to see the page tree button left of the breadcrumb. And you can configure WikiPakk by using a settings list, and this settings list lives in a special site collection. There are several ways to configure the site collection. The easiest one is to use a well-named site collection, and this is the WikiPakk configuration site. So in my tenant this already exists. You probably have to create that, and it has to look exactly like this. So if there is a site at sites/WikiPakk configuration, WikiPakk will go to this site and search for the settings list. Now for this list there's a helper to create this list, and this is WikiPakk. So let's add the app to this site as well, because WikiPakk can create the settings list for us. So in the WikiPakk configuration site, add the app as well. Let's wait a moment here for the app to appear. Okay, so we have the page tree button. Open the panel, click the question mark here, go to WikiPakk settings, check the setup status of the settings list. So no list has been found, that is expected. And then click ensure WikiPakk settings list exists in current site. And this creates the list. It should look like this, no errors, and done. And then you can check the status again. This is now green. Close all panels, refresh site contents, and there it is, the new WikiPakk settings list. Click this, the list opens, and now add a new item. And each settings item has a key and a value. So for key you use tree.panel.openFrom, and as value you enter left. Save this. Wow, that took a lot of time here. Okay, perfect. So switch back to the original site. Now reload, and you'll see WikiPakk doesn't care yet, because settings are cached for a couple of hours. So it might take a couple of hours for the settings changes to take effect, but let's expedite this. We just delete the settings cache to speed things up. And you do that by going to the developer tools of the browser in Edge and Chrome, pressing the F12 key, opens the developer tools, then go to the application tab, find the local storage entry here and the current domain of the SharePoint, and then enter WikiPakk as filter, and you see this WikiPakk.settings entry here, and you just delete that. So this is the cache entry. Let's close that again, and now reload the page, and now the button is on the left side, and clicking the button also opens the panel from the left side. So this is pretty easy to configure, and everything stays within the area designated by Microsoft to extensions, so this top bar here. But now let's do another thing. We want to move this page tree button out here and into the title area of the page. And you go back to the WikiPakk settings list, and now add two new items. One item, the first one is tree.button.position, and this gets the value fixed. And then you add another item, and that is called, let's copy copy that over here. tree.button.position.css. And as value, you now have the option to enter multiple CSS selectors that find the element to attach the button to on the page. In this case, it's one selector finding the header of each page, and if this element is not present, then it searches for another header type element. So this can be a list of selectors, and the tree will try to find any of those from top to bottom, and if it finds one, it will attach to it, and if not, it just stays where it is. And then you can also say, okay, when having found an element, relative to that element, where should the button be displayed, and we define a left margin of 20 pixel and a top margin of 10 pixel. Let's save this as well. Okay, perfect. Let's switch back to the original site, reload, and again the page tree button doesn't care because of the settings cache. So F12 into the developer tools again, application tab, local storage, WikiPakk filter, delete the settings entry here, now reload, and now you see it attaches to this element. And now when scrolling, you also see when this area scrolls out of view, it just moves back to the top position here. So this is something that probably has to be done by somebody familiar with CSS. So you find the right element on the page. Also, this can break because we are in the area that belongs to Microsoft. So Microsoft can change something in the backend, update SharePoint, and then the element has another name or disappears altogether. And but the risk is rather low, because when this element cannot be found, the button will just move back to the top bar. Yeah, and this is how you can move the page tree button to a different location on the page.